This video review is being brought to you by PrimeToys.net. PrimeToys.net, where you can get collector grade toys at not the collector grade prices. PrimeToys.net. And I'm a reviewer, so let the reviews be joined. Hey guys, your friend Dinobot here once again for another video review. And this is video number 5 of 8 that of the Transformers Combiner Wars Titan class, basically, or set of the Devastator. And as you can see, we're going to look at Voyager class Hook in this video. Not a decent, nice looking figure for him. I mean, it's definitely a good homage to the original, as I've gathered. And as you can see, mine's kind of not sitting right here. Got one wheel kind of, that's why. Didn't realize, I was wondering why it wasn't sitting level. Thought it was my table. But again, this is Hook. He's a Voyager size again, and he's a definitely good homage to the original G1 version. I used to have this set, but I don't have the original G1s anymore. And granted that some of the parts on them are different but the same, but we'll get into all that here in a minute with the transformation. But he's a good size figure. Definitely Voyager class. I'm going to bring in Bone Crusher here just for a little size comparison, how long he is compared to him. And as you can see, compared to Bone Crusher, he does have a little bit extra length. If Bone Crusher didn't have, of course, his scoop here, he wouldn't be nearly as long. And height-wise, they're pretty much right about the same. But we'll get onto that. And we're also going to bring in, like I have been doing, bring in Off-Road here. As you can see how much bigger, of course, Deluxe to a Voyager Off-Road is. I mean, it's definitely bigger. It's definitely good at this. Everybody said that, you know, being Voyager classes for Devastator, making him so big was kind of bad considering the other combiners. But if you're looking at vehicle-wise, it is a nice size comparison. I mean, you got a Hook machine here, or crane, basically, vehicle against basically a pickup truck, and it's pretty good comparison in size-wise. But you know, I think that's more where they wouldn't try to go for. But robot mode, you can definitely see a difference. But we'll look at that, of course, here shortly. Again, this is my next video for this. I'm going to do Hook, I'm going to do Bone Crusher as I showed, and I'm also going to do Scavenger, and I'm going to do an extra video where I show how to combine them into the lower part, as I'd already done the video on, just to make that last video for the Devastator a little bit easier. But let's get on into Hook. He's definitely got the same paint scheme as the other Constructicons. Side, he's got a lot of the purple here. You know, in the cockpit and the centerpiece. He's definitely got the black wheels and the black here. He's got the silver for the Hook and in the front headlights, which ain't too bad. Other than that, that's really it for. Excuse me there. For him, and he's not much to him. But like my other videos, this guy, I'm just going to transform him into his robot mode. I'm not going to do his combiner mode until the next video I do with these guys. But let's go ahead and show the transformation. Nothing really to it. By the instructions, he shows 9 steps. They start off basically where you basically start here and you just pull each side, each arm basically, out from each side, as you saw there. Do it on the same on this side. You then want to come back to here to basically the back end, the hook and the back bumper, and you're going to raise and pull this whole section up like so. Just basically level it up like this, basically pushing it, raising it up. The back end is basically what you're doing. You'll then rotate this back around, or look at the bottom. You'll want to straighten out his arms like so, basically pushing down these joints into his shoulder mode. As you can see, it is kind of lumps because I got it sitting down, but there's a reason for this. Next step, you raise this, you'll fold these pieces down, which is on the back part here. Fold these down straight like so. Again, like so. You'll then, on these back panels of it here, you'll fold these pieces down, which of course, as you can see, is going to be his feet. But we're not done yet, because it does kind of, you're going to say, yes, that looks kind of skinny for feet, but we're not done with that. You will then go ahead and pull and separate this back section here, or the back end, and you would think you'd rotate these down, but you kind of do and you kind of don't. You kind of basically unpeg this whole joint, and it'll rotate this whole back end down and fold it like so. As you can see, you have a peg right here. You're going to actually flip this whole section down, and you're going to peg it up here. It's going to peg like down here, not really peg into a peg hole, but it's kind of going to latch into it, like kind of like so. As you can see there, that's really all there is to it. There's not a peg hole or anything on this. I'll show it better on this side as we do it. You just basically just fold this down and around. Let me turn this over to this way. I was actually wrong. There is a peg hole on this side. I forgot about this one. This one does have a peg, and this one does too down here, but it's not pegging into. I'm sorry if you can't see that. Let me get that leg out of the way. It's going to actually, this inside leg peg, this peg here, is actually going to kind of, my leg wants to get in the way again, pegging about right about in there. So that's what you're going to be looking at doing for this side. So you just rotate it and just kind of get it to just pop in like so, which I didn't got the, as you can see, I don't got the other leg part up in there yet. Just got to rotate it and line it up kind of right. It's just all it takes. Like, there we go. Just still think I got, yeah, there we go. Now I got it pegged in there right. I just didn't have enough clearance because you're going to have a little bit of swivel down here for the foot, like so. Now we'll straighten them back out. We have them kind of squatting there. Straighten out hook, and then we're going to go ahead and get his hands, which he just raises this panel up, flip the hands out from here, straighten that arm back out. Do the same on this side. Straighten that out as well. And then last and foremost, let me raise this up. I didn't realize it lowered on me. You want to basically slide this back into place, but it's not going to peg in. It just kind of rotates down like so. That's supposed to, there we go. It actually does kind of latch on this back section here. It's got kind of this panel here is actually going to like slide right down on top of this top part of the purple bit here, which is basically where the Devastator head is. It just kind of slides right over that. Kind of doesn't really latch, but kind of locks it a little bit, and make sure to rotate the crane down. And that's it. That's all of his transformation. Just straighten them up, and there's Hook in robot form. Not too shabby. He does have his little quirks because of some parts here. Straighten his head up. He's one of my least favorite of the combiners, or at least of the Devastator set, because of the way some of them is they could have worked with, but he's still not too bad. Let's go ahead and look right now. He's kind of sort of back heavy, so he's basically got a third leg back here with the hook. As you can see, if you raise this up out of the way, kind of do that to it, he has no back stability. He wants to fall back because of the weight. So you actually kind of, if you leave this here, it actually gives him a little bit extra stability by standing it straight or helping him stand up. As you can see, if you further you lean it back, the further back he will slide. So you kind of need it to help give him support. I think it's because just so much weight up in this section kind of wants to add that, and the length of this as well. But there is there's nothing really you can do to it. I mean, when you get this hook or crane basically like this, it's going to be a problem for any figure. I believe it was actually like that, kind of like with the G1. Now the head sculpt, all the head sculpts are really good, excuse me, but the head mobility is kind of not really limited, but it's kind of impeded. You have these big like shoulder pads up here, but you also have the cheek, as I call them, cheek sideburns type things on the side of his head that also kind of impede it. As you can see, it can turn all the way around, but it does impede like and also in the back it's kind of thick too. So if you turn it backwards, you know, if you try to raise his head up, that's as far as it's going to go because of the amount of this black cover around his face, like his sideburns and stuff. You know, it doesn't give you a lot of movement there. His arms, they can kind of rotate if you work with it, but this impedes them a lot. As you can see, you can't really move them that way. You can't really rotate too well because of the big shoulder pads here. There is no elbow articulation other than the swivel here. And the fist, of course, hands have no finger articulation, no wrist movement other than the, folding it up. But the waist does have a little gimmick. There's no swivel at all, but it does have basically, I'm gonna have to pop it loose here just to show you this little gimmick here, basically part of the transformation. So if you wanted to kind of work something in with this, you could, but it is kind of a, this is again the part of the transformation for his combiner mode for Devastator. His legs, I'll raise his arms up just to give it a little swivel. That way are on ball joints. He does have a good rotation there. Not really impeded a whole lot though. When you go to swing it back, if you want to give him a little bit of a walk, it kind of does impede or kick the crane back some. And it actually doesn't look too bad walking stance like so, because of the articulation in the foot. But you also have the knee swivel as well. And again, like I said, you have a little bit of a foot swivel, so you do have some ankle give there. So you can actually do pretty good, show them like walking in some form if you just work with it a little bit. He just needs a little elbow work, and he actually would be pretty cool, which is part of the, I actually believe the not the Dr. Wu, the Perfect Effect kit that's coming out that I plan to pick up. Actually, there's 2 kits out there I'm wanting to get from Perfect Effect for these guys. That would make this look really good. He's supposed to give him some more articulation in the wrist and stuff as well, or the elbows. He's also there's also a second or a third kit that's supposed to make this longer, where it can rotate out or slide out, because you can see it does have, looks like it could, but there's nothing there. It's all one plastic. Also, I wanted to point this out on mine. Like with Scrapper and a couple of the others, he has some little wear issues from rubbing, as you can see there. I don't know really how that one got there. I really don't. You can see it's not on that side, it's just that one side. But other than that, I mean, he's not a bad figure. But again, I consider him probably everybody says Mixmaster's the worst. I actually don't mind the Mixmaster one. I think kind of Hook, just a little bit worse because of all the shoulder gimmick here. I know this is how basically Hook is, but I kind of wish they had shortened these just a little bit, or done something with them where you can maybe, when you raise it up, like this panel will flip up under there and just kind of sit right up under here or something, just to give you that extra little swivel. But it's still not too shabby, but it is what it is. I'm actually going to go ahead and bring in Alpha Bravo just to show you the size comparison for the Deluxe. Of course, him being Voyager, he's definitely going to be bigger, but yeah, he is what he is for Hook. But guys, this is going to be all for Hook. I don't mind him. I really don't. He has had to have a lot to him because of his transformation into the Devastator port or limb mode, or excuse me, the head mode basically. So he does have to lose a lot of his, basically, like his waist and stuff. That I can understand. So I can understand some of the flaws to him, but he's kind of, to me, he's kind of one of the worst ones of the lot. Not by a big margin, granted, but he's just right there for me. But guys, that's going to be it for this video. And as usual, if you want to pick these guys up, go to primetoys.net. Sadly, they do not have the Hasbro version like this one is. They do have the Takara. I'll have a link to that if you want to pick him up. And I also have a link to Transmissions, where you can go on Transmissions, which is a fellow sponsored podcast by primetoys.net, where you can also listen to them. They're a great group of guys that talk anything and everything Transformers. But also Transmissions being the first sponsored, and the podcast and everything, got a little deal with them where they get a little code that you can use. And for this month of December, you can use the code TransmissionsDecember and get 10% off your order. So if you want to pick this guy up, this team up, go in there, put the car version in your shopping cart, type in Transmissions December, and you'll get 10% off. Definitely worth doing that. I highly recommend it. But again, guys, this is Don about saying, please like, comment, and share this video. If you haven't done so, please subscribe And if you'd like to contact me, please leave a comment below. Please send me an email. I'll have my email address down below where you can contact me there. And also, please check out my Twitter and check out my Instagram. Follow me on there if you like. But this is done by saying, once again, thanks for watching, and I hope to hear from you soon.